Hi everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Megan Koo and I'm a law clerk here at JB Solicitors. We've still got a few more minutes before we actually schedule to start, so I might just wait for a few more registrants to pop in. Shouldn't be too much longer. Probably wait one more minute or so. Okay, I think we might give it a start. Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Megan Kerr and I am a law clerk here at JB Solicitors. So in today's webinar topic is drink driving and the recent changes to the New South Wales laws surrounding drink driving. In this webinar, I'll be going through what the previous laws were, what the changes are as of 20th of May of this year, the biggest misconception about these changes, and how we at JB Solicitors can assist anyone who's been found drink driving. So before we start, I'll just cover a few housekeeping issues. On your screen, you should see a dialog box. On this dialog box, there is an orange arrow you can click on to minimize or maximize the dialogs box. So the only person here today whose microphone will be on and heard during the webinar is my own. So for the purposes of this webinar, everyone else's microphone has been muted and I am unable to hear anybody else. So if you do have any questions, however, there is a questions box you can type your question in. So it's that big rectangle box you see towards the bottom of the dialog box. So I will try my best to answer your questions during the webinar, so just pop them in the questions box. However, if I don't get around to it, I will ensure that I will get around to contacting everyone so that your questions can be answered after the webinar. So on the left, there's also a raise hand button. So if you see on the left of the dialog box, 4 buttons down, there's a hand with a green arrow. So can I please get a show of hands of who is here and who is actually able to hear me? Okay, I've got a few hands up, so should be good to go. Thanks everyone for that. So perfect. Now before we start, I'll quickly go through our disclaimer. So this webinar is general advice only, and every single person, case, and scenario is different. Of course, we would like to provide everyone with tailored advice, and we can do that if you're able to get in contact with our office, either via email, our website, or by telephoning our office. So by doing this, we can give you advice that is specific to your actual circumstances. And just to repeat, this webinar is simply a way to provide general advice so everyone is aware of the new changes to the drink driving laws. Okay, let's start. So before we can determine what the actual changes are, we need to discuss what the previous laws were prior to the changes made on the 20th of May 2019 of this year. So previously, as you can see on the slide, anyone who was found to have a low range PCA, which is short for prescribed concentration of alcohol, was able to continue driving until the first court date. Simply put, there was no immediate license suspension for low range drivers. And during the first court date in the local court, This is where the severity of the penalty would be determined by the magistrate. Now, you're probably thinking, what exactly is a low-range PCA offence? So I've created a table on this slide, which you can see here, which lists out all the blood alcohol concentration levels and the respective PCA ranges. So the blood alcohol concentration levels, or BAC for short, hasn't changed with the new laws. They've actually been the same for about probably over 3 decades. But the penalties have changed depending on the type of PCA range. So it's good to be aware of the exact ranges if you or someone you know is ever caught drink driving. So as you can see on the far left column, in the small blue box there, I've categorized novice, special, and low range PCA offences as lower range PCA offences. So we'll get back to this when we start discussing the new laws. So probably just before I move on to the next slide, something to note is that novice PCA range, which applies to learners and provisionals, so your red plates and green plates, they must have a BAC range of 0, so completely sober and under no influence of alcohol in their system. And low is 0.05 to less than 0.08. Okay, we'll move on now. Okay, so as I've mentioned before, anyone charged with a low-range PCA offence, that is a BAC range between 0.05 to 0.08, won't have their license immediately suspended. So that's under the new laws. However, this is no longer the case. So under the new laws, which came into effect on the 20th of May of 2019, anyone who has been caught with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.02 or higher, which is the minimum of the lower range special PCA offence. I'll just go back so you can see here. The special range is in between the novice and the low PCA ranges, and the special range is 0.02 to 0.049. Okay. So that the special is the minimum of the lower range PCA range offences, and basically anyone who is found within that range will have their license immediately suspended, along with a hefty $561 penalty notice. So it is no longer the case that a lower range PCA offender will be able to continue driving up to their court date and have the severity of the penalty determined by the magistrate then. So it's basically immediate license suspension and a $561 penalty notice. So now the key misconception, which is probably a result of misleading headlines from the media, is that anyone, I will emphasize, anyone who has been caught with any alcohol in their system will be fined and have their license immediately suspended. So this is not true. However, for full licensed drivers, so everyone that's on their yellow license, so when I mean yellow, I mean like they're fulls and not their learners or red or green plates, the new laws have increased police powers to extend the penalties of license suspension and fines from low range to special range PCA offenders. So put simply, the police now have the power to issue suspensions and $561 fines to anyone who has been found with a BAC of 0.02 or higher. So if you fall below that range and you're a full licensed driver, it's up to the police. They have the discretionary powers there, but in terms of license suspension, it's 0.02 blood alcohol concentration or higher. So something that hasn't changed with the new laws that's important to stress is the fact that novice drivers, I'll repeat, that's anyone that's on their learners or provisionals, must have no alcohol in their system at all times whilst driving. So with that being said, the immediate 3-month suspension and $561 fine will also apply to all learners and provisional license holders who are found to have a BAC or of anything other than 0. Okay, so another key change to the drink driving laws is the extension of the interlock laws to include and extend to mid-range offenders. So previously, the interlock system was used only for high range offenders. So now you're probably wondering what exactly is an interlock. So an interlock is basically an electronic breath testing device which is installed to the ignition of your vehicle for a minimum of 12 months, with the actual participation period depending on the severity of your offense. So every time before you start your vehicle, you're required to do a breath test. If the interlock machine detects any alcohol in your system, the car pretty much won't start and won't allow you to drive. So these interlock machines are actually quite advanced and even has camera features which takes a photo of whoever is doing the breath test. So this basically ensures that someone else isn't trying to fake the breath test of the offender. With all these strict changes to the laws, you're probably wondering, if it's possible to challenge a drink driving charge. So depending on the circumstances, it is possible to ask the court to grant you what is known as a Section 10 dismissal. So now what exactly is a Section 10 dismissal? So a bit of legislation here, but Section 10 of the Crimes Act, or what is known in criminal law simply as a Section 10, is the discretionary power of the court to dismiss an accused of a charge without recording a conviction. So this means that there is no criminal conviction and the accused won't have a criminal record to their name. Should the court grant an offender a Section 10, this means that they may not have a criminal record, not lose their license, not have to partake in an interlock system, and not have to pay the penalty. So whilst the Section 10's dismissal's greatest power is the ability to dismiss a license disqualification and not leave a criminal record, the court may not dismiss the accused entirely without any conditional orders. So the court still holds the power to order that the accused enter into a good behavior bond and or participate in an intervention plan. Additionally, if the accused is found to have breached their good behavior bond or intervention plan, the court has the power to revoke their Section 10 dismissal and convict them accordingly. So this means that if you're found to be in breach of your good behavior bond, they could license the immediate suspension of your license, as well as any fines that they find fit. So now, Section 10 sounds like a saving grace, but is it easy to obtain? The answer to that is no. As a Section 10 dismissal is discretionary, it is entirely up to the court to determine whether the accused has satisfied the strict considerations to show that they are worthy of being granted a Section 10. The difficulty in obtaining a Section 10 dismissal is dependent on the severity of the charge. So now we'll just consider some of the factors the court will take into consideration when determining whether the court should find it inexpedient to punish the accused for the charge. These several factors include the person's character, age, health, and any mental conditions, the trivial nature of the offense. So basically, whether it's, you're just driving and you just happened to have a few drinks and then, or whether you're actually a serious and repeat offender, the extenuating circumstances in which the offense was committed, and also any other matter that the court thinks proper to consider. Okay, so how can we help? JB Solicitors definitely has a wealth of experience when it comes to drink driving and also Section 10 dismissals. We can help you by providing, preparing character references, apology letters to the court, and basically showing that, you've definitely made a mistake, an honest mistake, and that you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be punished to the extent of, having your license suspended or a hefty fine because of this one mistake you've made. And it's definitely, worthy noting if it is your first offense, you've got a good driving record. These are some of the also other factors that the court will consider. So JB Solicitors definitely has a wealth of, experience when it comes to assisting people in obtaining a Section 10 dismissal. So just to expand on how we can help, you can book your free consultation with JB Solicitors. So the first initial consultation is free. You'll sit with one of our solicitors and we can go through your matter. As I said before in the disclaimer, that everyone's circumstances are different. So, it's best to speak to someone face to face or over the phone to try and get a grasp of what your actual matter is and, how we can best assist you. We also have an article on the website. It's basically a Section 10 article, which I've gone through in this webinar. And in case you've missed anything or you want to get more information, there's a link you can see here. And then if you go to the link, it will list out everything you need to know about Section 10s. Our website also has more information. So, we also don't do, so we also do other areas of law, other than traffic offences, other criminal charges, as well as, family law, which is also known as divorce law, commercial law, and all your conveyancing. We also have a wealth of experience in that. And we also have a monthly newsletter, which provides pretty much our top articles that we draft on a regular basis and which might be of interest to you. And finally, if you need to contact us, our telephone number is right there. It's 1300 287 911. Well, this webinar's actually taken a lot shorter than I anticipated. So, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope it was useful. As I said again, if you need any assistance or if you need more information, feel free to give us a call. As I said before, I'll go back. Our number is 1300 287 911. Well, like I said before, I hope this webinar was useful, and I hope to see you in future webinars, which we hope to host on a fortnightly basis. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.